Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your Senate chamber. Today is Tuesday, July 2nd. It's exactly 10:45 in the morning, and we are meeting this morning for our fourth special Senate session. And before we begin, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babalta,
Presente.
Senator Cruz,
Here.
Madam President,
Here.
Senator Hapsinator,
Reggie.
Senator Keenan,
Here.
Senator Magofia,
Here.
Senator Mangunia Donna,
Present.
Senator Mangunia Paul, Senator Mindiola,
Here.
Madam President, all 9 members are present.
With all 9 members present, we have established a necessary quorum to conduct our business this morning. And let the record reflect that Senator Dennis Mendiola is joining us online. And for the viewing public, we are also live on cable TV, channel 23, and live on the CNMI Legislature's YouTube channel, which will be shared on the CNMI Legislature's Facebook page. And assisting us this morning is our Senate Legal Counsel, Joe Bermudez, Senate Clerk Dolores Bermudez, our Senate Journal Clerk, Shaniel Borja, Senate Legislative Assistant Jolene Duenas-Tagawell, IT Assistant Delbert Camacho, and Sergeant at Arms Jonathan De Leon Guerreros. Thank you for assisting us this morning. Moving on to item B of our agenda this morning under public comment. We are now open for public comment for anyone that would like to make a comment on the agenda items this morning. With no one in the chamber this morning to make a public comment, we are officially closing this section of the agenda. Moving on to item C, reading and approval of the journal. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I move to adopt Senate Journal number 23-33, first day, second special session dated 5/13/24. So moved.
There's a motion to adopt Senate Journal number 23-33 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? Senate Journal 23-33 is hereby recognized. Senator Babauta.
Madam President, there are technical amendments, I think, that need to be made on the Senate Journal. There's misspellings and typographical errors throughout the journal. For example, the first one, page 1, after very last sentence, and also Senator Neighbors, there's a period there. Should be omitted. The next page, second line, it begins with and also live on the cinema. I think it should be cinema. And there's minor technical spelling errors throughout the journal that I've noticed. So if we can make minor amendments later on. I have
Thank
no
you.
problems adopting the.
Thank you, Senator Babauta, and we'll take note of that with the corrections on Senate Journal 23-33. And after the corrections, that particular Senate Journal will be adopted. Thank you. Moving on to item D, messages from the governor. Clerk?
Madam President, we have 10 on our agenda, 23 to 288 to 297.
Any comments from the members? Ready? Item E, communications from the judiciary. There is none. Communications from the heads of executive department. Clerk?
We have one, Madam President, 2375.
Comments from the members? None. Item G, communications from the House. Clerk?
Madam President, we have 7 on our agenda, 23-130 to 136.
Any comments from the members? None. Moving on to item H. Recognize Senator Karina Magofnia.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to offer a motion to move to place House Communication number 23-135, which is House Joint Resolution 23-2 on today's resolution calendar for Senate action. Thank you.
There's a motion to move House Communication number 23-135 to the calendar, and it has been seconded. Any objections from the members? Okay, House Communication 23-135 is moved to the calendar for action today. Thank you. Senator Jude Hofschneider?
Madam Press, my apologies, but are we still on communications from the House or?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I respectfully ask if we can consider entertaining on today's bill calendar, resolution calendar number 7, House Communication 23-136. This is a template, but, what do you call this? Resolution that essentially funds all the CDBG grants that by NMHC. That's servicing some of our infrastructure needs and public facilities here in the CNMI. So, if there's no objection, I just really want to ask.
No objections. I second it.
Any second on the motion?
I second the motion.
Okay. Any further discussions from the members? A short recess, please. Okay, we are back from that short recess, and there is a motion to move House Communication 23-136 to take action on House Joint Resolution 23-3 and has been seconded. Any objections from the members? None? Okay, House Communication 23-136 to address House Joint Resolution 23-3 is on calendar for action today. Any further comments from the members? None? Item H, communications from the Senate Clerk.
Madam President, we have 471.
Any comments from the members? None. Communications from the Washington Delegate, there is none. Unfinished business, item J, there is none. Item K, pre-filed bills, initiatives, local bills, and resolutions. And now I will recognize the author of number 1 and number 4. Senator Paul.
Madam Press, I believe, I'm sorry, I do not have the numbers presently here, but, here. I'd like to officially introduce Senate Commemorative Resolution 2305, recognizing Kalayan for their contribution to the people of the cinema in celebration of 25 years of providing quality food service in the cinema. And also Senate Bill 23-65 to authorize Public Utility Commission to review charges at the officially designated seaports in the CNMI. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Paul. And I would like to recognize the author for item K under numbers 2 and 3. Senator Jude Hofschneider.
Jesus Masi, Madam President and members, buenos dias to everyone. Officially introducing Senate Bill number 23-64, entitled to improve the food security of the CNMI by amending 4 CMC subsection 8182 and 8183 to establish agricultural water usage rates for commercial farmers and ranchers and for other purposes. I also would like to formally introduce Senate Resolution number 23-25, and that is to recognize and commend Henry Joseph of Schneider San Nicolas Jr., for his selfless contributions as an advocate of the youth and proudly representing the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. I so introduce.
Thank you, Senator Hofschneider. Moving on to item L, introduction of bills, initiatives, local bills, and resolutions. I now recognize Senator Dono Manglonia. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to give credit to the former author, Senator Justo Kirigua, formally introducing a bill for an act to regulate off-road vehicles, including ATVs, SPX, and UTVs, and for other purposes.
Thank you, Senator Manglonia. Unnumbered, okay. Any other members to introduce bills, initiatives, local bills, and resolutions? None? Okay, item M, reports of standing committees. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under reports of standing committees, we have one, Standing Committee Report number 23-85 from the Committee on Fiscal Affairs reporting on Senate Bill number 23-43, Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, CNMI Captive Insurance Bill of 2024. The Chair recommends passage in its current form, and I move for its adoption.
Is there a second? There's a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 23-85. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? Standing Committee Report number 23-85 is hereby adopted. Moving on to item N, reports of Special Conference Committee. There is none. Moving on to item O, resolution calendar. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Under resolution calendar, we have four. First is the Senate Commemorative Resolution number 23-05, introduced by Senator Paul Manglonia. I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt Senate Commemorative Resolution number 23-05 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? Senate Commemorative Resolution number 23-05 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have Senate Resolution number 23-25, introduced by Senator Jude Hofschneider. I move for its adoption. Thank you.
A motion to adopt Senate Resolution number 23-25 and it has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? Senate Resolution number 23-25 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we have House Joint Resolution number 23-2. I move for its adoption.
There's a motion to adopt House Joint Resolution number 23-2 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? House Joint Resolution number 23-2 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. Last, we have House Joint Resolution number 23-3. I move for its adoption.
And there's a motion to adopt House Joint Resolution number 23-3 and has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? House Joint Resolution number 23-3 is hereby adopted. Moving on to item P, under bill calendar. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, we have Senate Bill number 23-43, Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, CNMI Captive Insurance Bill of 2024. Madam President, I move for its passage.
There's a motion to pass Senate Bill number 23-43 and has been seconded. I now recognize Senator Dono Manglonia.
Thank you, Madam President. We received comments from the Department of Commerce after the bill has been adopted by the committee. There's just one. They made several recommendations, but most of them have been addressed, and so there's just one technical amendment I'd like to make. This is under Section 7802, Part 4. It's just to change Section 7811 to 7813. So with that, we'll just treat that as a technical, Madam President. Thank you.
Is there a second to those amendments?
Second.
All those in favor say aye for the recommended amendments. Nays? The amendments is hereby adopted by this body. I now recognize the floor leader.
Madam President,
Recognize Senator Paul Manglonia.
under discussion.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I also noticed that Senate Communication number 23461 coming from Frank Capillo. was submitted after the deadline for submission for comments. I just want to ask the chair, are there any significant recommendations there that we might miss out? I believe he has a lengthy comment here from Select Care, Health Plan Administrator. Senate Communication 23461.
That's number 2. Any comments? Recognize Senator Babauta.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you, Senator Paul. Basically, I've read the comments from Mr. Campillo of Select Care Insurance. Basically, his comments are not necessarily for the improvement of the bill itself, but how to go about implementing this new industry that will be created by this bill should it become law. But I don't see any amendments that could be made to the bill itself based on Select Care's comments. It's just recommendations on, and that certainly his comments can be addressed through regulation, which still have to be promulgated after this bill becomes law in order to implement this industry.
Thank you. Just one, I guess, to point that out so that it become part of the record also. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Poe, and thank you. Recognize Senator Babauta.
Thank you. Are we still under discussion?
Go ahead, please.
I just wanted to commend the chair, Senator McGovern, for putting this out to be passed today. There are significant benefits to creating this industry for the CNMI. Captive insurance industry has been around for 40 years. At least 90% of Fortune 500 companies have captives, have one or more, in fact. In the year 2020 and 2021, over 200 new captives were formed, generating at least $3.4 billion in captive insurance premiums alone. That excludes the taxes and other financial gains that the CNMI can benefit from. FSM has had their captive industry for the last 14 years. They have at least 20 captives and they market strictly to Japan, nowhere else. And they generate approximately $17 million in annual insurance premiums. This benefits companies as well, in that it affords them the flexibility to ensure high risk issues such as cyber attacks, which third insurance parties do not cover or are reluctant to cover because of the high risk involved. Whereas the parent company can create their own captive insurance company. It's a legitimate insurance to self-insure their companies and subsidiaries. And that is what basically a captive insurance company does. I have been talking to local businesses here to take a look at this bill, and they are interested in learning more. I have spoken on many occasions with CEDA, and they are behind this bill, and they are ready to formulate a specific package to include captive insurance industries should it be signed into law as a part of the investment packages moving forward to foreign companies. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Babauta. Any further comments from the members? I now recognize the floor leader to make the proper motion on the Senate bill for passage as amended.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I move for passage Senate Bill number 23-43 as recommended by the Chair of Fiscal Affairs for the legal counsel to make the necessary correction on the technical error identified by Department of Commerce. So moved.
Okay, there's a motion to pass Senate Bill number 23-43 as amended and has been seconded. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babauta,
Hungat.
Senator Cruz, Senator Schneider,
I'm good.
Senator King Neighbors, Senator McGovern,
Yes.
Senator Maloney Donald,
Yes.
Senator Maloney Paul,
Yes.
Senator Mendiola,
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
Madam President, all nine members,
With all 9 members voting yes, Senate Bill number 23-43 as amended is hereby passes the Senate. Moving on to item Q, petitions, memorials, and miscellaneous communications. Clerk?
Madam President, we have A on our agenda, 23-186 to 193.
Any comments from the members? None? Moving on to item R, announcements. Recognize Senator Donald Manglonia.
Thank you, Madam President. Yesterday, we received the revised budget submission from the administration, and so I will give members about a week to review that, and we will begin our budget hearing. Budget hearings on the 9th. I know JGL has the 8th, and so I know members will be gone next week, but we'll start our first one on the 9th and then proceed with the following week. And so, if members can inform me of when they might be out of their office or away from Saipan, let me know, and we can try to fit in a schedule that fits all members. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Manglonia. Recognize Senator Paul Manglonia.
Madam President, I know the chairman of Resources has been working very hard on the land lease agreement proposal, and I just want to ask her to brief the members on the status of that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Senator Paul, for your inquiry. Just for the members and the viewing public listening in, the latest update that we have on the Coral Ocean Point is we are kind of putting it on hold to get an update from the Secretary of DPL, which we hope to get this week. If not next week, there's the negotiation taking place with DPL and the Marianas Resort, and there were some concerns brought forth by the House members on the Committee of Resources, wanting to get an update on where things are with Marianas Resort, and based on that update, for when we receive it this week or next week, then the two committees, both the House and the Senate, will probably have like an informal meeting prior to the joint committee meeting to introduce the resolution. So the members of the House, shared their concerns with me. Just recently, we did meet with a DPL secretary yesterday to get an update on that particular property, and I will keep you guys posted as soon as I get any information from the Secretary of DPL. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Magofnia and Senator Manglonia. Any further announcements from senators? Recognize Senator Juthoff Schneider.
Thank you, Madam President. If I'm not out of order, can I just make just a couple of suggestions? I'm glad the Vice President had mentioned about the budget. I respectfully ask to request, amongst other than the packet that was submitted, is also a report or a spreadsheet or financial breakdown of the FEMA reimbursements that the government received over the last 6 months or to a year. And it's inconsequential to ask on how was it used, basically because, coming from this side of the Iowa in the legislature, I feel that is supposed to be going to public programs by way of the general fund appropriation on a yearly basis. But because of the response that's needed on an emergency basis, that qualified this reimbursement by declaring state of emergency because of the storms. I think it's very critical that we learn where that money was allocated to. Number two, I am not certain if the tax task force of the Department of Finance have continued on with their work. I commend the Secretary of Finance for stepping up the issue on visiting the businesses throughout the CNMI to ensure that they're making whole with their obligations to the government. So I think that's a great organization to do, or a task force that they instituted. So I'm wondering if that initiative or that organization is still in effect throughout this fiscal year and into the next year. Thank you, Madam Press.
Thank you, Senator Jude Schneider. Any further announcements from the senators? None? Okay, moving on to item S for adjournment, and I'll recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, I offer a motion to adjourn this session, subject to the call of the President. Thank you.
There's a motion to adjourn. It has been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Nays? This session is hereby adjourned. Thank you, senators.